YouTube, as well as Creepy Popcorn on YouTube. So we are
Good morning to our official triggers for real.
the piping hot caffeinated beverage.
I have that same mug at home. I love it. I use it a lot.
I
bought it when you did your open.
have a couple of these mugs.
John Flew says hi from Maine. Jason Todd Boy, he says, always here to support you, bro. And Art Star 70, that's a badass Joker art piece you got.
Oh yeah, I painted that like 100 years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was right when the new Heath Ledger movie came out, and I didn't know if it was going to be any good yet. And I was like, well, I'll put him in the back in case I need to erase him. And then it was great.
Little did you know.
Little did I know.
I was one of not one of the few, but I was one of the ones that knew. I loved Heath Ledger, man, and I had so much confidence it was going to be good.
I worked on Lords of Dogtown, and
Oh, did you?
Heath Ledger's,
Yeah.
plays in that. And he was so cool.
He seemed like such a nice dude. Like
Tyler says he's got to get back to teaching drawing class. But he stopped by.
Well, Tyler, go forth and wreak havoc. It's funny because I answer all your questions towards Kayla, but I know you're in the camera over here. Go forth and wreak havoc.
So before I get started today, I have a couple of questions for you. I know I'm nearing, I think, the detail time.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. So is there anything I should be doing before I get started kind of on my detail?
No. Oh, well, the only thing I would say is like where your little tendrils are or line, I would dig them a little bit deeper, especially if we're going to cut any breathing holes in them. Like give them a little bit of deepness.
It's funny you say that because I wasn't even thinking about breathing.
Yeah, it's like you're going to want to put slices, but you don't want to slice to the surface. So
Okay.
I would make those look a little more three-dimensional, especially like where we're where these guys are like kind of flat and stuff. I would just go in and really kind of mine them out.
Okay.
Then go over them with a soft brush like this with some water, and then yeah, you're kind of down to the detail. And when you get to that, I'm going to show you some little secrets that you can use for some pretty cool detail.
All right. Awesome.
I wanted to show. On my daily show, I did an episode with this Terminator face. This was a 3D scan of this guy that was sculpted on the show, and we see
Amazing.
the sculpture, right? And then I 3D scanned it and printed it in resin,
So cool.
and it's identical. They're the same guy. So I don't even have to make a mold of this. I could just trash this clay and move on. Like,
So we talked about this a little bit before.
this will live in the Monster Museum. This is the chest I'm making right now is for this guy. And I will make a traditional mold of this. It's just too easy. This is a plate mold. This is a very easy mold.
Right.
But this, to have to make the mold, run it, all that stuff, I don't have to do any of that. I just printed it out,
So it'll save you a ton of time. It save you a bunch of money, right? I mean,
It saves a ton of time. Time and money. And time is money,
And it's really like so if you had made that whole mold,
Yeah.
did the whole thing, you probably would have only made one forever,
I
right?
would make one unless I open a second Monster Museum in Branson, Missouri, if anybody has any property. And then I would make two.
And
But
so,
I don't sell any items that are within the museum because I try to keep them very rare.
oh, okay.
I don't want it to be something that shows up on eBay and they're like, oh, I have that. No, you don't. You
Right.
don't have anything in here. But what we can do now is shrink this down to a mini bust and sell a piece of the Monster Museum that you can go home with.
Right, yeah.
That's labeled Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. Like when you go to Universal Studios, buy a Terminator mini bus, but it said Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like we could do that now. And the crazy thing with this is like the ability to, this is not digitally sculpted. This is not AI. This is this is my sculpture.
Yeah.
It's just been printed out without the labor of pouring it up. Like there's just something I've had to wrap my mind around this new tool, and
Because all this new stuff, the first reaction is that it's like
it's killing art.
It's killing art. Yeah.
But this just I'm an artist. I am and I can't. I live, breathe, and die
Yep.
monsters. But I'm a sculptor and I'm a painter. And with this, I got to sculpt it and I get to paint it. I'm not a mold maker. I make
Right.
molds, but I hate making molds.
Yeah.
And now I never have to do it again. And this sculpt will match this sculpt will match the rest of the Terminator because he's all from the same hand.
Yeah, it's all.
It's rad. My mind is blown on this technology. Um,
And so, what would you normally do with the when you made these in the past, and you have that big piece?
that mold. Have you been in the back room?
So you just pack it. You
There's
couldn't throw them out.
100,000. I have a semi-trailer showing up later this week to put all those molds in because I need to clean this building out to build a haunt. I have a semi-trailer coming that I'm gonna put molds in that I'm never gonna use again.
Right.
And the only reason I won't let go of them, like normally, so much of me wants to throw them out, but 2 times in my life I've thrown out all my molds and I've regretted both times. That's always when you need.
Yeah.
And it's a piece of art, or somebody passes away that you had the life cast or the mold,
Right.
and then you're like out of nostalgia. I can tell you, it happened with Joe Flyshaker, Trauma, big guy, big, huge, fat guy from Trauma. I had the only life cast of Joe, and he passed away.
Right.
And then what? Now it's gone forever, and because I the Rock shoulder from Scorpion, my first movie, I life casted the Rock shoulder for Scorpion King. And when I was having like a midlife crisis moving from LA to Florida, I was throwing all my molds out, and Lola stopped me. The only thing she stopped me, she goes, maybe just take a picture of that before you throw it away, because it was like so personal. And
Yeah.
I threw it away.
Oh.
I did get a picture of it, but that should be in the Monster Museum.
Yeah. Well, because I don't know.
The molds in a museum.
You sound like a little bit like me too. Like I'm a bit of a hoarder.
Yeah.
But then when
I binge and purge.
Exactly. It's the same thing. And every time I purge, I walk away with regret. Maybe 6 months later, whatever it is, at some
Not
point.
every time for me, but certainly many times.
Right.
So like, there's molds in there that I've had since before I knew how to make a mold, and I just want to keep. There's some stuff I have to keep, but then I have a fiberglass mold of a Teddy Tommy mask that I'll never make again. But it's a piece of my history,
Right.
and I can't throw it away.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it in a semi truck. I'm gonna go park the semi truck in the desert, and if we need a mold, we'll go find it. But
now with this technology, you won't have to.
so
get
there's a
another
scary
semi-
part of that, though, right? Like I'm storing all these files on hard drives,
Right.
and what happens when those hard drives are obsolete? Somebody spills a coffee pot on one.
Right.
So I'm gonna buy a
Cloud.
computer. I'm gonna buy a computer for here.
Okay.
That I do all the scanning on. The scanner's hooked up to, and that's all it's for. And then I'm gonna have a hard drive, backup drive, for myself that I'll keep in the other building, where our office is. And then I will keep on the cloud a storage area, because what I see happening, I'm gonna scan all the items in the Monster Museum. I'm gonna scan every character in there. That way, if I ever get the opportunity to open the second location in Branson, Missouri, I will be able to just print them all. Like, you know how quick I can open a second location? I can just print them all. Print them. Put them on mannequins.
Terry Robinson says, "Yay, Monster Mondays! The only reason to look forward to a Monday."
Yay, Monster
I was
Monday.
gonna say the same thing, man. Mondays have now become one of my favorite days.
Yeah, I never wanted to get to work on Monday.
But
but here we are.
no, Mondays are amazing.
Monday fun days.
So you were talking earlier about the life cast thing with 3D printing.
So
Probably not much. I mean, they're probably
that's something that's already being done.
Yeah.
So like, I know Trick or Treat
Someone's
Studios.
asking, can you explain the process of 3D printing animatronics?
So, yes, I can explain that. Give me 1 second. So with the life casting, Trick or Treat Studios, who uses, they're the biggest Halloween mask company in the world.
Mhm.
They recently not recently, this is now 2 years ago, got the license to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
And they 3D scanned Robert Englund's head, blew it up 10% because Halloween masks shrink 10%.
Oh, okay.
Sculpted the makeups beautifully. Justin Mabry, Russ Lukic, maybe a bunch of good great fucking sculptors. Sculpted those masks, and then molded them traditionally and made the Halloween masks. but they're sculpted on Robert's face, so they look perfect. Unfortunately, I feel like the paint jobs have gotten a little sus, but they're great for artists out there that want to repaint because those sculptures are so beautiful.
You think that's just because they try to move through them fast, the paint jobs? Is that
It's factory work, yeah, in Mexico or China. Not that they can't do beautiful work in those factories, but I think the mass quantities, it's different. So 3D printing animatronics is one of the coolest things about this. I can now make this Terminator head, print this guy out that I built. I could 3D print gears in his neck and a base that I can hook a normal windshield wiper motor to or a gear motor to, and I can make him turn. Using Fright Props technology, I can, all of my past work,
Yeah.
this makes everything so much easier because now I can make this turn. If I had a soundtrack to it, I could make it go on cue. If you could, I mean, there's
And
every
those
kind of.
gears, there's just files for that already. So you just look.
If there's not,
files.
they're just
Yeah.
they are such simple cog gears. Chris could just stamp them out on the blender, put them in, build the mounts that they're fit into. We've already done some work where like servos mount into the plates and the skulls. That's how I made the Cyclops for a Devil's Night, which is one of the best animatronics I ever made. But there's just so much. So the opportunities seem endless right now.
And it's taking away, like, it's making your job easier. It also makes it more affordable, right? Too, like, because
yeah,
normally
I'm not going to tell you how cheap this was, but this is a fraction of the price of making a traditional resin head.
Right.
If I was going to make a resin head, this would be a. If somebody commissioned me to make this resin head, I would charge somewhere around $2,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
The materials to do so is usually about half of that. So I'm making this for a fraction of the price. And I don't want to say any numbers because I don't want to be wrong. But
right.
I've been told how much resin this took, and it was very affordable.
That's amazing, man.
It took 24 hours to print.
Yeah.
But that 24 hours was 2 minutes of pressing print and 5 minutes of taking it off the plate, and the machine did the rest of the work.
Wow.
The machines are taking over.
The machine, and you making Terminator.
I know.
How perfect.
How perfect. I that's not lost on me. But I will say, like, God, I fight technology always. I'm the guy. I'm like, no, I'm not ever gonna upgrade. I am. I own a museum dedicated to old technology. You know.
Well, and I think that's like the most important part of that conversation is being into one of them or whatever it is. Like, doesn't mean one has to go away. It doesn't mean
Right.
you know what I'm saying. Like,
No,
that's,
it kind of makes the museum more relevant because
Yeah.
we are preserving
Yeah.
the art and history of practical effects, which is now moving on to another level.
well, it's just like a new complementary medium, I guess.
Yeah.
Something if you want to say.
And what I love about this is like I'm not sitting here defending digital effects. Like
Yeah.
this was hand sculpted in front of you guys live on a Monday. Sculpted this. But it sits in front of me here without me having to hire a mold maker because I don't like making molds. You know,
Right.
I can make a mold. I don't want to enjoy it. So I always pay other people to do it.
Well, the other assumption that goes along with it too, what people have is like, well, now some mold maker lost their job, but you also didn't have the money to, you know what I'm saying? Like for certain things, like
I live in Boulder City, Nevada. There's not mold makers
it's not like you're
like
just
lining up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
The
like,
only mold makers that I hire are guys that I train to be mold makers, and they're the ones pressing print.
Right.
So they're still getting paid.
yeah, 100%. So it's like, yeah, that general assumption that like it always is like getting rid of some other person's job or getting rid of
Right, right.
It's just part of it is just growing and changing.
There used to be a mold makers union in Hollywood. There was a union for effects mold making, and that went away before I started my career in 2000. But I knew some guys like Russ Seifer who were part of that mold making union, and they were really bummed because they take a lot of pride in mold work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were the best. The quality of mold making. I mean, on the big scale, there's great mold makers out there, but like on my personal level, I cheat and cut corners all the time because it's just not fun for me.
Yeah, it's like
I don't like precision like that. I like asymmetry and wackiness. You
right.
can't make a wacky mold. It's not. You're not allowed. One of the best mold makers I ever met. His name's Scott Fields. He makes the best um, fiberglass molds in the world. I say he is Scott's Monster Shop on all social medias. But he is wacky and zany like me, asymmetrical and crazy, muddy sculptures, ropey, viney, texture. But then he makes these freaking beautiful molds, and I'm like, all right, I see you. Don't tell me I can't do it, but his mold work is like second to none as far as fiberglass goes. I've seen this guy make a fiberglass mold of a fiberglass coffin and then pull a rigid coffin out of that rigid mold, and it's like, I just told you can't do that.
Right.
You know, it's pretty crazy. He's awesome.
Terry Robinson says, okay, this is bugging me. What's the bear mask next to the monitor?
That is Billy Bob from Rockafire Explosion, the greatest rock band of all time. From Showbiz Pizza Place, created by Aaron Fechter of Craziness McCraziness.
So then, for mold makers, though, is there, are there still cases where you think it would be like more advantageous for them to, for it to go through the whole molding process?
Yeah, 100%. Because so if I were gonna make this is rigid.
Okay.
This is not a latex Halloween mask.
Right.
I cannot make a latex Halloween mask without a plaster-based mold. Plaster reacts to latex with chemical reaction.
Okay.
So even if I made a rigid mold of this character out of the 3D printer, which you can do pretty easily, the latex would never set up in it. It'd be like putting it in a plastic bowl. Has to go into plaster. So like I just did a mask workshop here, which I'm going to do another one very soon. And that mask workshop, we had to make plaster molds because we're making latex masks. If you're making a latex Halloween mask, has to be in a plaster mold. I would say has to. I'm sure somebody's going to come and tell me there's a new way that I'm not aware of. But we're talking about a technique that's been used since the 1920s, and
Right.
that's just how it's done, So yeah, mold making is still very much a needed art or technique, but I don't have to do it. Not if you own a monster museum, you don't have to do it.
And when you say rigid, explain what that exactly?
So rigid is rigid, right? And then flexible would be like this is a Halloween mask. This is flexible. So I cannot make this mask in resin mold. It'll never dry. It'll just stay liquid.
Right.
But when you put this liquid into the plaster, it cures. That's why it's all the same thickness everywhere, because it sucks the ammonia out of the latex and cures it at a rate where it stays the exact same thickness pretty much all the way through. But so to make a flexible mask like this, you have to use a rigid hard mold. I can't put this into a flexible mold. It won't hold its shape. But to make this rigid head, if I were going to do this traditionally, it has to be in a flexible mold, because if this went into a stone mold, it would just lock. You're just stuck. You need to be able to bend and take this out.
So when you're making something, one of it is always going to have to be rigid, and one's always going to have to be flexible.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Anything flexible can be made in a rigid mold if it will set up. Like I could make a resin mold of a sculpture and then put silicone in it. It'll set up. It's chemical reaction. A and B makes solid. And then I can take that silicone mold out, and with these resin molds, it'll never look better. It'll look so perfect. So for those guys making CFX masks, Immortal masks, my buddies at Shattered, Shattered is still doing fiberglass mold work, and their molds are awesome. Jared, I think, makes all the molds. And he's got a system. Like, he doesn't even need to upgrade to 3D printing because he has a system.
He probably likes doing it.
But I'm sure he loves doing it. His molds it's beautiful. But those guys would benefit from these rigid molds where you could scan your sculpture, just print a negative. Like, all you have to do is print the negative and you have a mold. Oh my gosh.
Someone asked,
Rick Baker, K&B guys, there's Stan Winston, who's the GOAT.
Ooh. The GOAT being the best?
Greatest of all time.
Oh, you're saying Rick Baker. Monster Maker Rick Baker is the best, right? My favorite out of all of those is the K of K&B, Robert Kurtzman, who's not even with the company anymore. Robert Kurtzman's one of me. Like he is a freaking horror monster guy. That's probably why he's not with K&B, because it got the bureaucracy and the bigness of it. Like me, I think Robert Kurt, he opened a shop in a bowling alley in Ohio. He's like, they won an Academy Award, and he's like, peace, I'm out. But he directed Wishmaster. He's an amazing monster maker. I love Robert Kurtzman of K&B.
Hey Tom, what's your opinion on the new Jason mask?
I plead the fifth.
I hate it. I can't. And you know me, like I don't hate a lot of things.
No,
Well,
you usually stick with new stuff.
Yeah, I usually like to argue why something is cool, or but man, when I saw that new Jason mask, I was just like, I don't know.
There's two masks that have affected me that way. The new Jason mask, when I first saw the MTV Scream mask, I thought the same thing. And the Puppet Master reboot, The Littlest Reich, whatever that dumpster fire was, Blade looked like a sluggy turd in that. And I had a real problem with it. But that's just my opinion. Doesn't mean it's right. I don't know.
As you get older too, it's like there's things that we're really nostalgic
The thing
about.
is, that hockey mask, it's a real hockey mask. It's in 1984 and beyond, earlier, you could find at least late 70s for sure. That hockey mask played hockey in the NHL. Like, that was a hockey mask. So the new Jason mask is not a hockey. What is it? That's not a real shape.
No, and there's something about I think it's like, I can't even remember right now, but like, I think it's the brow, the design.
Why does it have a brow?
Yeah, it looks like, it gives him like a weird facial expression.
Yeah.
When I look at it, like, it looks like he's like, I don't know, a little bored, a little off, or a little something. Like, I don't know, there's something about the design of
I'm
that
bored.
throws me off, and I was like, oh man. Because to me, also, it's like, I don't know, there's been 1,000 different, 1,000 adjustments to Jason.
Sure.
And I've loved every
one of them.
There's not one of them that I'm like, that sucks.
I feel the same.
And so when they were like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
And then you're like,
Wow, you guys
Why did you do
get
that?
one that sucks.
why did you do that? But
Post 51 Alien Museum says, we feel the same all the way out here at the outpost.
Good. But yeah, if people like it, cool.
And Terry Robertson, going back to the Showbiz Pizza, he says that his brother worked at the first one in Atlanta.
wow, that's cool. I had my fourth birthday party at Showbiz Pizza Place in either Basking Ridge or Bernardsville. I'm not sure where in New Jersey. But I have photos from when I was 4. And God,
What is Showbiz Pizza?
you don't know what Showbiz
No,
Pizza
it's
Place
not a
is?
Vegas thing. Yeah.
It was at one time. So Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, let me check it.
Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza Place were competitors, but Showbiz was first.
Okay.
And the animatronics were made by a guy named Aaron Fector, and they were alive. They were real. They're a real-ass band. My wife grew up in Indiana, and I grew up in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. We both had the exact same memory because Chuck E. Cheese was going out of business, and Showbiz bought all Chuck E. Cheese's.
Okay.
And then reconfigured the Showbiz Pizza Place, turned into Chuck E. Cheese. So it's gained a lot of popularity lately because Five Nights at Freddy's is based on Showbiz Pizza Place.
Okay.
So all the kids are like real into the lore, and the lore leads back to Billy Bob right there above your head.
That's what?
Yeah, that's an original Showbiz character. So we both had the same memory when they changed over to Chuck E. Cheese, because at that point, Aaron Fector stopped making the animatronics. Garner Holt made all the animatronics from that point on. But during the interim, they just recostumed them, and they looked goofy and they didn't move right. But we both had that thing where we went in and we're like, whoa, they're fake. They're not real. Because to me, the Rock of Fire Explosion, they played real songs, like they played You know,
Like their own
Doors
original?
strong.
Oh, okay.
They played their originals too, but like they played the Doors, they played the Beatles, Michael Jackson. But in their voices, they all sang like Fats.
Right.
Gorilla was kind of a Louis Armstrong type guy. He sang, and Billy Bob and Beach Bear, Mitzi Mozzarella. These are all like characters that I knew and loved, and so we were like, they're not real. They're mouses. They're Chuck E. Cheese and Munch, and they turned Fats into Munch, the purple monster, and I think Beach Bear turned into the dog. Uh, but they didn't move right because they were just wearing frumpier costumes and didn't really work. But anyway, I loved Rockfire Explosion as a kid, and Showbiz Pizza Place was the place, and I owned a Rockfire Explosion animatronic band that used to live in the Monster Museum.
Oh, really?
Aaron Fector, the creator, sent me a cease and desist.
Oh,
He was
no.
like, "You cannot display my family-friendly characters at your Monster Museum." And I was like, "Oh, yes, I can, because you went out of business 1,000 years ago, and I purchased these." You know, a guy named Brian Patterson, a good friend of mine, knew my love for the Rockfire, and he.
That's a bummer.
But then I had to sell those. I got really broke after the dinosaur adventure went under, and I sold them. And I regretted. That's a regret. You want to talk about a regret? I think about it every day.
Right.
I mean, I owned a piece. There was only 222 ever made, and I owned one. Like I owned this 3 of them. I had Beach Bear, Mitzi, and Duke LaRue, the drummer, who could play 4/4, keep time. A robot from 1982 could keep time on the drum set. Wow, it was awesome. Anyway, I love Rocket Fire. I
didn't know. Because out here when
I'm gonna send you a link to a documentary. You'll love it.
Okay.
Because it's. I mean, you didn't know, but after you watch the documentary, you'll be like, "This is so fascinating." Because when I found that documentary, all these memories came back.
Yeah.
But also, it was like, this guy invented a thing that lasted until today. They just recently removed all the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics out of all the places. But like Peter Piper Pizza, Chuck E. Cheese, none of this exists without Showbiz Pizza Place and the Rockfire Explosion. And there's also this weird animatronic called King Lion that's an Elvis that would show up at some Showbiz Pizza Places. And he was like 9 feet tall.
That's
I
awesome.
used to own another animatronic band called the Dixie Digger Dogs. And they were like Southern real racist dogs. They had like Confederate hats and like the white and red striped outfits, you know? They were awesome. They were all rotting and falling apart. Oh, those were the Dixie Digger Dog Band. That was a great band.
We had a place here in Vegas, like when I was
Peter Piper Pizza.
Peter Piper was what took over for all the Chuck E. Cheese turned into, I believe, if I remember right.
I don't think so.
Well, then maybe because when I was little, it was Chuck E. Cheese. As I got older, it was all Peter Piper.
So how old little? Because you're older than me. So if you saw Chuck E. Cheese, there's a bunch of interesting things. So was he a rat or was he a mouse? Because he started as a rat.
Yeah, he was a rat.
Okay, so you saw an original Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like this thing
that's pretty
very
rare.
familiar. Because it did get I mean, when I say I had to be less than 10.
Yeah.
I would say.
I think you might have experienced a Showbiz Pizza Place and you don't remember that's what it's
Possible,
called.
yeah. I mean, it's. So do you think? So was Chuck E. Cheese a character in there?
Chuck E. Cheese was never a character at Showbiz, but when Chuck E. Cheese went under and Showbiz bought him, they might have put a Showbiz where your Chuck E. Cheese was for a minute before bringing it back to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, because it was like the way I remember is a lot of them got turned into Peter Pipers.
Yeah. Well, Peter Piper was a completely different company though, so they might have bought some failing buildings, but they would not have. There wouldn't have been what they call the resto.
No, yeah, it was just
It's called the resto
Yeah, basically
mod
the whole building changed.
Yeah, and then they put roller coasters in and stuff, and people died.
Yeah, I never liked Peter Piper. I mean, the whole thing
Wally
was like,
loved Peter Piper Pizza.
yeah.
Well, he talks about it. I don't know if he loved it, but I think he did. The first job Waleed ever had for me when I hired him, we didn't know each other at all. I was like, I had that Dixie Dog Digger band, and they looked like rotten. Like they looked like Five Nights at Freddy's. And I was like, I need all of these moved from here to here in this weird room with checkerboard floors. took these pictures and posted them. This is like when we first met. I paid him $200 to move these robots while I went somewhere. And he was like, I think I'm in Five Nights at Freddy's right now. If I don't come home, somebody just know I'm in Boulder City moving these robots. And then we became lifelong friends.
There was a place out here called the Paddle Wheel, and I think that was before.
I think that's where those Dixie Dog Digger Band came from.
Yeah,
Because I bought them from that. I bought them from the rebar. I traded. I made a Johnny Cash animatronic for the rebar. But he got them from the auction from that crazy doctor's house that had all kinds of crazy stuff.
God damn it.
What's that guy's name?
Lonnie Hammer.
Well, yeah. So that he had the Dixie Dog Digger Band, Dixie Digger Dog Band. What a weird thing.
Yeah.
But I sold those to this girl that lived in San Diego, and she showed up in like a Honda Accord, and she took. Remember that, Caleb? She showed up in this tiny car. I mean, she paid $1,000 for these robots, and she fit them all into like a Honda Accord, and we're talking like 4 6.5-foot animatronic robots.
Holy yeah.
I was like, this is nuts. But she owned a King Lion. I remember that, and I was like, man, the animatronic crowd, they are a fan base.
I'll have to look up the paddle wheel thing because my memory, that was when I was really young. I feel like that was when I was like maybe 5.
Yeah.
And
I believe
that was like the first. That was before Chuck E. Cheese. But it also, I feel like it was like once Chuck E. Cheese came, it was like, I don't know, it got more popular. And I don't know how long the paddle wheel lasted.
Those dogs were from Sally Corporation, which is one of the best animatronic companies of all time now. They do all of the Universal like animatronics and stuff. That Davy Jones that's in Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, they're
cool.
I love it. That's something that when I was such a fan of like animated props. When I first moved here to Boulder, I knew the Characters Unlimited who makes the Zoltars live here. Like I stalked him until he gave me a job because I love that weird stuff. And Garner Holt's in San Bernardino, and I'd always threatened that I'm going to go knock on his door, but never did. He'd be like, "Who are you? What are you doing?" Garner Holt has an awesome story. He made those Chuck E. Cheeses, but he's also, when he was 19, he went to Disneyland, like lobbied to make animatronics with them, and they don't go outside of their Imagineers, especially in the 70s, 80s. And he ended up being the first outsourced animatronic builder at Disney when he was like 19 years old, working out of his dad's garage.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool. I think he did the Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh wow. So have you done a lot of animatronic stuff?
For my haunted attraction, I do my own animatronic work for the haunted attraction. I started a company doing robotic zombies when I first moved to Vegas, and they're awesome, and they moved and everything. I made a shooting gallery where you shoot them with a laser tag gun, and their heads explode, and then they go back together, and then and you can shoot them again.
That's awesome.
I really enjoy simple mechanic animatronics. I don't do Arduino or any of this new technology really, but there's a company called Fright Props that makes these controllers. Like that's all animatronic. This is all my animatronic corner. Okay. But I do I've done a lot in makeup effects too. Like I made a Cyclops for Devil's Night, and the eye moves every way, blinks. I mean, it was so cool. But I'm self-trained. I have a really hard time doing it for, like, if somebody hired me to make an animatronic, I've done it for escape rooms and stuff. Super uncomfortable because stuff breaks. And I don't want to leave somebody high and dry that can't repair.
Yeah.
But that's something that's so cool about being able to print these gears into the things. There's so much solidness. Yeah, it's just a game changer because you're not going to wear it out and break it the same way. It'll break a different way, I'm sure. We're going to find out. But
also because it's kind of not all handmade, it'd probably be something that you could easily replace.
Right, just reprint. Yeah. But the thing is, too, with the haunted attraction stuff here, I do a lot of pneumatic props, which I really enjoy, but the wear and tear is just insane. But all those robots I was just talking about from the pizza places are completely air-powered pneumatics, no motors, which is very cool. Zoltar and all of Characters Unlimited is all motor based, no air, no pneumatics, which is old school, and I like that too. I love animatronics. I like robots. But the robot technology is getting crazy. I have these designs that I blueprinted when I first moved to Vegas that I was going to make a Gene Simmons animatronic that's full body movement, everything, tongue comes out, drips blood. And I was going to donate it to Kiss Monster Mini Golf as long as I could put a plaque on it that says who made it. And I never ended up making it. But I found those blueprints yesterday while I was going through a bunch of old stuff looking for some old call sheets and whatnot. And call sheets for a new show we're doing. Is there people watching, Kayla?
Mhm.
We're doing a new show that's going to air on Fridays called Tales from the Vault with me and Nightmare Christie. And we're going to review movies from my past from the vault. So we're starting off with a movie called Chain Letter. It's going to be a banger of an episode. But every Friday, hopefully, don't hold me to it, but we're going to try for every Friday if schedules permit. We'll be releasing Tales from the Vault. Wednesdays, we have the Off the Clock podcast, and of course, the daily Tom Devlin show that's happening on YouTube on Monster Museum Network. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification.
Silicone or latex to cover animatronics?
Ooh. It really there's pros and cons. Silicone is really heavy. Also impossible. It's very difficult to glue. So like putting snaps in it or magnets or zippers, whatever you want, very difficult. Silicone's much harder to work with. It gives a way more realistic effect. I prefer, if I'm making an animatronic for a short period of time, I prefer foam latex because it moves well. It's lightweight, weighs nothing. It's very easy to paint and attach. I make some really cool animated skulls for the haunt, all with foam latex skins. They look like real. But latex is durable. It just doesn't flex as much. And you need a lot of movement to it. So there's pros and cons.
Other than Teddy, what's your favorite makeup from Face Off?
Teddy's not my favorite makeup on Face Off. I love the body paint that or if you're talking about my own personal makeup or anybody's makeup, my personal makeup, I really love the body paint that I did in episode 2. And I love the zombie that I left the show on. I think
Is that it?
yeah, it's
That's
beautiful,
fun.
and I love it. And the sculpt was fun, and the performer was great. Actually, same performer as Teddy, I think. No, it was a different guy. But yeah, no, Teddy wasn't my favorite makeup, but it was my favorite character.
Real mouth movements look. What about animatronic?
Foam latex is the best to get the most realistic mouth movements. If you watch Evil Bong 3, I made an alien bong with foam latex, and I mean, you get so much lip movement because there's 3 points of contact, and another point because you can add cables to the servos and glue everything. Like it really worked. I really think foam latex is the best for realistic mouth movement, and that's what Rick Baker used for everything. Stan Winston used for everything. You know, now ADI is using silicone, but their technology is so much. There's no explaining how they're. Those guys are so good. Like all the new Predator stuff. It's hard to tell what's CG and what's animatronics. Yeah. Like they've gotten so good. So yeah.
When I watched that new Predator movie, the whole time I kept just staring at the Predator like
how's it doing?
What is going on here? Because it's way too good to be just CG.
Yeah.
But also it's way too good to be just like a mask. I don't know. It's
a perfect meld.
Yeah. It looks like a real fucking animal.
That's awesome.
When you said earlier, you said that Rick Baker is the goat for what kind of gets you that
he's the best. He's the best.
There's no conversation to be had.
I mean, Rick Baker.
I know
he reinvented makeup effects. He is an amazing sculptor. He hires the right people. I mean, that's really part of it. Like Steve Wang came through Stan Winston's and made everything that you think that Stan Winston was the best about was that he hired Steve Wang.
I recently heard. I didn't realize that before.
Stan Winston was a mediocre artist. Wanted to be an actor, but he was a mediocre artist But watch Terminator 1 and then watch Terminator 2. Stan Winston's responsible for Terminator's look in Terminator 1.
Okay.
And then his artists he hired are responsible for the look in this look in Terminator 2. So there's just a difference, you know. Of course, technology got better, but he just hired the right people. Rick Baker was the real deal. He'd go in the shop and make everything with the guys, you know. And that takes a lot because he was an innovator. He was the best. He left on top. Harry and the Hendersons alone, that sculpt on Harry is so relatable because of the sculpture, not because of any, you know, the animatronics are phenomenal in that head, and there's a lot of things that are great on Harry, but the sculpt, which Rick did. So a lot of the stuff with Stan Winston, you'll be like, oh, but the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. Yeah, they're awesome. The sculptors, the team of sculptors that made those were awesome.
That was
Rick could step in on Planet of the Apes reboot. The I could tell you the apes that Rick sculpted because I could see his life in them.
right.
He's one of the greatest sculptors and artists. Yeah, I love him, and he had passion, and he left on top. He quit. He didn't quit. He retired, but on top. He didn't wait, and he saw what was happening with technology and things changing with makeup effects, and he's like, you know, I've done my job.
Right.
Someone says they heard that Rick Baker had so many awards he used Oscar trophies as doorstops in his office.
I will tell you guys a true story. I used to love the Oscars. And then I was privy to a conversation with my old boss on the phone in the car on our way back from set. We were coming from X-Files. And he was a member of the Academy. And he's like, we can't nominate Rick again. He's got enough Oscars. So let's go with so-and-so. And I was just like, wait a minute. I'm talking about the fucking, I think it was Planet of the Apes. It was either Planet of the Apes or The Grinch. It was like a huge one.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is the best makeup. There's no, yeah, he deserved all those Oscars, but they did get tired of giving them to him.
The Grinch, I just watched it this year with my son for the first time.
Good. You never saw it?
No, I've seen a bunch of times, but it was the first time
he
sat through it. And he loved it. We
Oh,
watched
yeah.
it, I don't know, 9 times this year. But I just, you know, like, as much as I love that movie and seen it before, watching it this time specifically, it was just like, the amount of
work.
yeah, I was like,
Oh,
God
God.
damn, this is amazing.
There's something to be said because, you know, you're a filmmaker and you know how much work that takes to pull that off, you know?
Yeah. And what Jim Carrey did in that was just like, I mean, he's so good.
He is great,
Yeah.
and he's great in makeup. But man, he also did us disservice by the amount of. I love Jim Carrey, but the amount of complaining that Jim Carrey did about being in the makeup and like going to
Right.
therapy and war and blah blah blah. Well, that pushes other actors to not want to give that a chance.
Right.
And it pushes other actors and the public to think, well, we should just go CG. And now with the new Grinch, it's CGI, and we all have to live with it. Whatever.
Do you think that part of the makeup effects of getting him in and out of these suits, has that gotten...
I don't think it's ever as bad as it's over exaggerated about. Jim Carrey's like, I'm in makeup for 9 hours. First of all, Kazoo, Rick Baker's #1 guy, was putting that makeup on Jim. There is no way it took longer than 3 hours.
No.
There is no way in any world that makeup took longer than 3 hours. I have a hard time letting a makeup take 3 hours. But it was all pre-painted. It all had pre-done hair work. There's no way to glue and blend those edges took longer. If it did, it's because Jim was on the phone, smoking, walking,
Right.
talking. It had nothing to do with Kazoo, the most patient, ninja-like makeup artist. I had my own assistant partner named Kazoo. I call him Kazoo #2 because Rick Baker had Kazoo #1. I had Kazoo #2. And then Kazoo #2 went to work for Kazoo #1.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was awesome. I was like, a land of Kazoos.
Have you ever worked with Screaming Mad George?
I never worked with Screaming Mad George, but here's an awesome story because he is a wonderful human. My friend Chris Burgoyne worked with Screaming Mad George. And Screaming Mad George, for those of you who don't know, he's a Japanese makeup artist. He's responsible for Big Trouble in Little China He did Faust, the Stuart Gordon Faust movie. He's awesome, incredible effects artist, and he is crazy. But he's back in Japan now. He has a heavy metal band as well, like a Guar type band. But Chris Burgoyne was working for Scream Mad George at nights, and I was working at Matthew Mungle's. My friend Takayuki, who's from Japan, wanted to get an internship in America on doing effects. We met at makeup school, and I just reached out and said, "Hey, I have this Japanese friend. He would really like a job. He doesn't speak very good English, but George is Japanese." Hired Taka immediately. Gave Taka the time of his life, and he taught. I have this little head. This is funny. This thing came up. Chris brought this up yesterday. I have this little goblin head that says "Good luck 1313 effects." Hey, it's right there. I keep it in all my shops. This is Screaming Mad George told Taka, "You're never going to be a great sculptor until you do it 100 times. Same item, 100 times." And I got this little goblin head
That's amazing.
that Taka gave me when I opened the business. It says "Good luck 1313 effects Taka," and in the box it said number 3. So he
That's
was
so cool.
sculpting me these heads. That
So those are one of a kind, hand sculpted each time, or
yeah,
multiple?
one of a kind. It's like super sculpy.
Yeah.
But
Shows that, you know.
yeah, so I've had this in my workshop in every rendition of my workshop. It's my good luck.
That's so cool. So he sculpted 100 of them.
He ended up. I don't know if he ever finished the 100, but this was
But that
number
was
3.
kind of like, he was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna. That's such a cool.
But there's a very cool story I heard about George, Scream Mad George, while he was there. When we run foam latex, the leftover in the bowl is like squishy, but not. It solidifies, but it's not super hard. It's like a sponge almost.
Okay.
And he said they would run foam on all their appliances, and then George would take the bottom of the bowl and sculpt like a real ass skull out of that and bake it with it. And it would look like a manufactured toy. He was so good. He would just use like this, like a little nail, and just sculpt out of the foam, and then put it in the oven. Yeah.
That's awesome.
George is a legend. I never met him. I wish.
Talking about Guar earlier. Did you ever go to the Guar concert?
I've never been to a Guar concert. Waleed loves Guar. I love Guar. I never been to a Guar concert, but I worked with Techno Destructo. Not worked with, but did a wrestling show with him.
Okay.
He's crazy. They're all crazy.
I went and saw Guar once when I was a kid. They had actually maybe twice. He used to play the 100 tune.
Yeah, I think you might have been at the same show as Waleed. I mean,
Yeah,
he
maybe.
talks about that place too.
It was 100 was amazing. It was.
I've heard nothing but good things.
It was. I was lucky to grow up at the time that I grew up because I saw Rob Zombie. I saw White Zombie like before they.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were nobody.
Wow.
Cool. I mean, I can't even like. I think that White Zombie was the first mosh pit I ever got into.
That's
I
awesome.
me and my buddy were there, and we were, I guess maybe 16. Yeah, because I think I was driving, but like very early. And I just remember us standing like on the outside, like looking in on it, like not knowing what to do. Just like let's just go. Like yeah.
I kind of miss those butterflies of like, am I gonna die?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I got my front tooth knocked. Like killed basically.
Yeah.
His front tooth's fake. It hurt so bad. It was like a kick. Someone I think they were crowd surfing. They got kicked in the face.
Oh my god.
My other buddy got like busted in the top of the head. And, if your head gets cut, like he bled like I was dying.
I have an awesome photo from a punk show. I had a cut, like somebody's spike bracelet got my head. And there's just blood streaming down my face, and I'm like,
yeah, you just feel cool. You're just like,
I got color.
Yeah, I saw Danzig there a bunch of times.
Oh, that's cool.
It's saw Blink when they were Blink.
Yeah.
Before they were Blink, when it was okay to like them.
Yeah.
I still Blink.
I love them.
Yeah, but that was a funny moment in time too, because I remember all the dudes that would go. They played there a handful of times early. And there was
Well, it's just a drive from San Diego, just a day.
yeah.
So.
But yeah, I remember when they got popular and everyone. That was the thing that always annoyed me.
That's funny. So my friend Tara, she loves Blink-182. And but she was like, I was there before all the hate, before all the fans. She like considers them hers.
Yeah, I think I sort of do as well because I just stuck up for them because I hated that like all the people that I knew that once loved them.
But then didn't.
Yeah, once you're on the radio, like it's so loud. I'm like,
Oh, whatever.
God, dude. Like,
That's called being successful.
yeah, it's called.
That's what
yeah,
we
it's
all
called make a
want.
living.
Nobody performs and says, you know what, I don't want anybody to listen to me.
Yeah. But the Guar, I never was really. I'm not a Guar. I never listened to Guar.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I wanted. You know,
You just
I
experienced
just
Squad.
experienced it, and it was one of the coolest things I ever did. There was like I think the band that I think they opened for was a band called Jenna Tortures,
Okay.
which was like another crazy. It was like a female singer, punk, or whatever you call what they are.
Right.
But they also had a whole stage show with like I don't know, cutting someone's penis off and throwing it out. I mean, it was crazy, dude. Then Guar gets up there and you just get soaked like with all
Blood and
nastiness. It was amazing. It was a fun thing.
that's awesome.
Do they still tour?
Yeah, I think so. I know Odorous died, the lead
Yeah.
player,
Oh wow.
but they replaced him, and I think they're still going.
Ouija's was a quick shooting schedule, but do you have a favorite character and or story from set?
I love that somebody's asking questions about Ouija's. Who's that?
Baked Alaska Films.
Man, I love Ouija's. If anybody has not seen Ouija's, it is a full moon movie. I'll give you a bunch of stories. Number one story is I said no to that movie 4 times. I said, I don't want to do it. I'm not into it. At the time, they wanted to make it like the Gingerweed Man, who was a guy from the Ginger Dead Man series that I had created. They wanted to give him his own movie, and I thought it was going to be stupid. And I was like, I have no interest in a Gingerweed Man movie. And they were like, well, so anyway, there was all these weed monsters, and it's just very weed centric. I'm not a weed guy, and I was just like, I don't think this is funny. It's legal now. Like it doesn't. I don't understand the thing. I'm just not in. I didn't like the Evil Bong movies. Wasn't into it, and I was kind of pissed that they made weed part of Ginger Dead Man. If
Right.
I know I'm going on a tangent, I'm getting to the answer.
That's what we're here for.
So the Ginger Dead Man, part 1, was so good, and part 2, probably my favorite full moon movie. That's not a Puppet Master movie. It was like the terra firma of Full Moon. It was like an inside look at making movies at Full Moon. And the original Ginger Dead Man was created by John Beekler, who's my favorite effects artist of all time. And so I made several of those movies as well. And I got to take the character over from John, and I thought that was such an honor. And Jeff Farley had done it before me, and then I took it over. And then the Ouija's came up. Well, Ginger Weed Man got introduced to the Ginger Dead Man world on one of the movies I worked on. I think it was Evil Bong 666, because Ginger Dead crossed over with Evil Bong on Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, which I'm responsible for that turd. And but I felt like it was a disgrace to a character I loved. Like I loved the Ginger Dead Man, and that was my first movie I did with him was versus Evil Bong, and I hate Evil Bong. And I hated the weed humor with the cookie because the Cookie Monster was one of my favorite characters.
All right.
And so then when I made the Ginger Weed Man, which is just a weed version of the Ginger Dead Man with a bad British accent, which I don't even understand why he had a British accent, I was furious. Like I was like, this is the dumbest character, and this is the dumbest. We're ruining something that was really cool.
Right.
So then they want to do Ouija's, and I was like, oh God, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the movie. So then John Beekler admitted that he had cancer, that he had been hiding for a long time, and he passed away. I tried to raise money for help his family and stuff, and John Beekler's my biggest inspiration, my favorite artist, and he passed away. And at his funeral, Charles Band came to me. He said, let's just do Ouija's for John. Let's do it. Let's do it for John. And I said, I'm in. Let's do it. And we made the Ouija's. First of all, Charlie made a great decision by hiring Danny Draven to direct Ouija's. Danny Draven is not a weed guy. also shares my sentiment.
Right.
Like, it's stupid. So, and I'm not saying weed's stupid. If you like weed,
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
fuck it.
yeah.
Not a place with a monster movie for me, you know?
Right.
And so anyway, it makes you take the movie less serious. It's hard to get people to watch the film because it's called Ouija's.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like a Ouija board. Ouija's. Danny added the Halloween Haunt subtitle, so it's Ouija's Halloween Haunt. And but we made the Ouija's in the vein of the Ghoulies that John made, that John
Right.
Beekler made. So the Ouija's became like how there's Smurfs and Snorks, like
Yeah.
the cousin, like Care Bear cousins. Ouija's are like cousins of Ghoulies. And they raise chaos like the Ghoulies. And we even did, we had a guy, Peter Badalamenti, who goes by the Don for union reasons. He is a short stature actor who is one of the Ouija, Weed Wolf, the dog. He's in the suit, just like in Ghoulies 4, they're all guys in suits.
Yeah.
I mean, we really, it was so awesome. So, to answer the question, my favorite character in Ouija's would be Gravestoned, because he looks most like the fish ghoulie. And also, I love the bar scene. He's like smashing bottles and stuff. I was puppeteering him for that bar scene, and it was, I loved all the Ouija's though, like making them in honor of John. Like that movie, me and Danny were on a mission, and I think we achieved it. It's so
That's a
fun.
movie.
It is so fun. Had you seen that movie before we knew each other?
Yeah, how I found that movie was when I was at Kings of Horror, when I was trying to license films. I reached out to, we did a live stream of a new release of a movie called Patient 7.
Oh, okay.
And Danny had directed Danny directed the wraparound of Patient 7.
Okay.
Ever seen Patient 7?
No.
It's really good. The company, Territor Films, that put it out, they licensed these short films, these really cool short films, and then built a wraparound with, like an insane asylum, and it's got Michael Ironside.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
It's
I
really
knew
good.
about this through Dan.
Yeah. So he did the wraparound. The wraparound was amazing. And afterwards, I had him on. We did like a live stream interview when we did his movie. So then I ended up chatting with Danny afterwards, and that's when I was trying to get Full Moon Movies for the channel. And Danny was telling me about it, that they had done Ouija's, and it just didn't get seen in that much.
It's hard to get people to watch it because they think, like I did when it was approached to me, oh, this is dumb.
Well,
but it's really smart, and it's really fun, and it's not dumb. It's one of my favorite movies in my career is Ouija's, because it's puppets. They all have animatronic mechanical eyes. Everybody's on a remote. You have a hand in the puppet with a remote, just like the Ghoulies. From an effects standpoint, it was a dream job. Chris, who's at Outpost 51 right now, he puppeteered with me. And Waleed was on set. That was his first movie ever. And what a fun first movie, you know.
Yeah.
But Chris's puppeteering, mine, I act out. When I'm puppeteering something, I'm like, if I'm puppeteering this guy, I'm like, I'll be that. Like I am the guy. Chris is like the most stoic. This thing will be like doing everything and talking, but Chris is just like, he doesn't move. He's frozen. I have these awesome videos of him puppeteering Motor Breath, which was like our rock and roll Ouija, and he's just like going crazy with the puppet, but he looks like a statue. I love that. But I love Gravestone, probably my favorite puppet, although Motor Breath, now that I say it, is so cool.
Mason 0306 says Gravestone is his favorite Ouija.
Mason, text me your address to the Monster Museum Instagram, because Kayla's trying to send you a package and we cannot find your address. This is Mason Egan, right?
I don't know.
Mason, are you Mason Egan?
I don't think it's the same Mason.
Oh, I think it is.
So the Mason's like, oh man, I thought I was getting a package.
Jason Toddboy, he says John Beekler was a legend in the horror community, only man to work personally on Jason, Michael, and Freddy.
Yeah, he is. And it is a legend, 100%. I love John Beekler.
Baked Alaska Film says, cheers to Danny and JoJo.
The best.
And Chris says, that's the problem with full moon weed movies. There's not movies that happen to have weed in their movies about weed. And then Jason Todd Voorhees also says, Evil Bong series was very for me. I definitely prefer Ginger Dead Man.
I will tell you that Evil Bong 3 was a special experience for me. And Evil Bong 777 was shot at Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. So that's very cool too.
That's very cool.
And they made me put a mask over top of the Toxic Avenger, which I thought was hysterical. Because there's this old feud between Troma and Full Moon, you know?
Oh,
Like
really?
East Coast, West Coast, Bloods and Crips, Troma and Full Moon, and Charlie and Lloyd. And when we were shooting back there, Charlie goes, "Could you cover that up?"
So they really don't kind of get along.
I think they get along just fine. I think they just.
Yeah, they don't promote each other's stuff.
I kind of think he was slightly being funny, but yeah, no. I think I know
Stop
that.
me from covering it up.
I think that either of them respects the heck out of what the other has done. They just have a different flavor, and they get compared all the time, and they both see that they're doing something completely different.
Yeah.
But they are two of the longest running independent film studios of all time. You know, so I mean, they're surpassing Roger Corman right now. Like their longevity is crazy.
And Troma's a strange one too because their brand, I mean, by all rights, they should have not lasted very long at all.
Right.
You know, the way that like it's hard, you know, like the rating and all stuff, and it's so offensive.
They wouldn't have lasted if it wasn't for the fans and Lloyd trying to prove a point. You know, he grew up. His best friend, childhood friend, is Oliver Stone. And you see the similarities when you watch Natural Born Killers. That's a Troma movie, like so close.
Yeah.
But Lloyd and Oliver Stone were best friends, and Lloyd's wife Pat is the film commissioner of New York City. Like, I've been to these weird meetings with Lloyd where, like, we're sitting in a room making a PSA with Tiny Lister and Ed Gale about fighting for web neutrality that he is then sharing with like these huge people, huge names in the industry. You take a rubber tool like this and go in and give some really deep cuts. And then you can go back if you need to round them out, but don't get too soft. And, you know, keep the overlap the way that it should be.
Okay.
But just get it nice and deep, because otherwise you're going to regret it. It's going to look painted when you paint it. Like this is going to get so soft you're going to be embarrassed.
Okay. Perfect. No,
Probably not embarrassed, but yeah, just get it nice and deep. You know.
Rubber tool.
Here, you can use rubber.
Baked Alaska Film said seeing the giant Elvis marionette on Evil Bong 777 was an epic experience.
Yeah. That was something. Oh, he's talking about a 10-foot rod puppet that I built. It took 6 of us to control the thing.
Holy cow.
And it had a huge jeweled member. An Elvis-looking jeweled member, and he's like doing a hooker. It was a highlight of my career.
That was Mason. He sent me his address
Okay, awesome, Mason. There's a package coming your way
today.
very soon.
The one thing too about Troma that I always appreciated, like Lloyd and those movies, is like as offensive as they are, he is very artistic. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
he's a genius.
Yeah, he's very like.
People, you know what he's done so well for himself is create a persona and a character that he whoa. Lloyd is one of the most intelligent filmmakers I've ever met. He is a wealth of knowledge, film history, but he portrays himself as a goof. So it's kind of like those clown, like the clown that it's like a drunken master, right? Like, you come in there all, but then you're like a kung fu master.
Right.
It's an art. He has lowered the expectation so he can deliver a message without you realizing you're getting said message. And in the 80s, he really took on the pollution and corporate takeover. And in the 90s, he really took on the racial and stereotyping and abuse towards mentally and physically disabled. And now he's doing something that I don't quite understand. And I know there's a message. I just don't know what it is. But he's hypnotizing people.
Yeah.
Lloyd is brilliant. And there's many sides of that guy, and I've seen them all.
Yeah, I think
I love it.
It's funny you're talking about Lloyd because Mark Torgel just joined in.
Mark Torgel,
Nice.
Melvin Junko, the original. Oh man, thank you, Mark. That's awesome. If you would have told me when I was 13 years old that Melvin Junko would be, well, Melvin Ferd, because he's from part one before they changed his name, would be watching me live sculpt the Terminator chest. Oh, weird.
Oh, is it?
Man, what a life. Mark's a great guy, and he's really embraced his character lately. He's out there doing conventions and shooting new movies, and
That's
Mark is he came to the Monster Museum. It was just such a thrill.
He says hi, Tom.
Hey, Mark. What a guy. God, that's awesome. Goals. No, it's been what a wild ride this whole journey's been. I mean, I've been doing makeup effects now for 26 years professionally. And then about, I'd say, 30 years, you know, starting in my bedroom. And I've worked with every hero I have. I've met all the people, you know. I could call Stuart Gordon my friend, and Lloyd Kaufman and Charles Band, these guys that I looked up to and mentored me. And just the other day, after we were done with one of our live shows, my friend Clinton Wayne, who was like my real mentor, taught me so much in makeup effects, sent me a video of that rock climber that came to the alien place.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a promo for all of his spots, and I'm in it for a split second. And this guy who I respect so much was like, saw you in this. And I was like, how? How? If I watched it, I wouldn't have seen me in it. And he said, I heard your voice first, and I rewound it.
That's awesome.
I'm like, well, I guess I still talk like a little girl.
Victor Lasca's giving Poultrygeist some love.
Poultrygeist was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Hands down.
What was something that you really liked about that one?
That I was the head of a trauma film. Like that was
Was that your first one?
yeah, that's the only movie I've ever done for him. I've done a lot of work with Lloyd as far as like small things, but that movie is when I met Lloyd. That movie is when I basically my old boss, Rob Hall at Almost Human, was gonna do Poltergeist. He had the job. And he wanted to trade for the rights to remake Mother's Day, which is Lloyd's brother's movie, which is, if you haven't seen Mother's Day, anybody that has not seen the original Mother's Day, do yourself the best favor of all favors and go watch Mother's Day, because it's one of the best trauma films of all time. But Lloyd's brother Charles directed it. And Lloyd and Rob got in some kind of a dispute over the what Rob wanted to do with Mother's Day. And he's, you know, Lloyd's very protective of his product, which is why this remake bothers me so much. And then so I had been mailing Lloyd and Trauma pictures, random pictures. I was just sculpting chicken zombies because I heard this movie was coming. I was sending them photographs because this is before digital photography. I was snapping photos and mailing them of these zombie chickens that I was like, just put it in the movie. I'll send it for free. I've sculpted this one. I sculpted that one. Just put it in the movie. I just want my artwork in a trauma film.
Right.
And so when Lloyd got mad at Rob Hall, not knowing that we knew each other at all, he was like, call that kid. Call the kid that keeps sending the pictures. He wants the job. Call him. And for better or worse, I snagged that job. For worse with Rob Hall, because he never talked to me again.
Oh, really?
He was pretty salty because it happened one other time. Again, actually, it happened after that with a movie called Freak Show. I didn't know, but I went and bid on a job and I was bidding against him. I didn't know he was going to direct Freak Show as well and do the effects. And then I ended up doing the effects. And Rob and me were never friends. But we were friends before that. And his shop supervisor, Jason, was really cool and always respectful. But Poltergeist wasn't for him. That was mine, you know.
Right.
And I brought this guy, Tyler, who just went back to teach his art class, who was watching earlier. We went to Buffalo and went to war. It was like, I can't explain it. Being on set of that movie was not like anything you've ever experienced in your life. And you've made low budget movies, but it's not the same. It was
Just like hectic, long days.
120 people sleeping on the basement floor with no air conditioning in abandoned church in Buffalo. Like,
I've heard those stories.
it's all real.
Yeah.
We ate every day. We ate bagels from the trash. Like every day.
Oh,
We would empty a dumpster of bagels from a bagel shop, and that was our craft service for breakfast. Everybody was there on volunteer time because they wanted to be. They offered me a room when I got to the church. They're like, "Oh, I was a paid guy." They're like, "You get a room," and I was like, "I can't sleep in that room. There'll be an uprising.
right.
Like I can't put myself above these people who are working just as hard." So we slept in that basement with them because I didn't want to get beat up. It was,
So like,
and then there was a war. It was like prison. There was a war because there's this asshole named Chris Bowen who's a fucking piece of shit, non-talented hack. I hope you're watching. I hope somebody knows him because Chris Bowen can suck a dick. Because I have gone on to have a wonderful career and he is nothing. Like all he did was try to derail my efforts. Everything I did, he tried to get the effects artist turned against me. He turned the art department against me. He was another effect. There was 1 million volunteer effects artists.
Okay.
And then one paid one. That was me. And he would call me Hollywood Tom Devlin. Then he started calling me Hollywood He-Man because I love Masters of the Universe. And I'm like, this guy's the coolest. But he was just actively trying to turn 10 months after the movie wrapped, he sent an essay to the entire crew about how I was the worst piece of trash.
Really?
And that essay, I don't have a copy of it anymore because it was on an old email. Someone sent it to me, of course. And it was hysterical because I was like, everything he's complaining about is real, but it wasn't bad. Like, yes, I used 77 spray to spray glue feathers on one of my best friends, Caleb Emerson, who didn't give a fuck. Like, he's we're in it to win.
What's wrong with that?
Mark says you have a nice Lloyd impression and that he's in Portuguese too.
Mark's in Poltergeist too?
Mhm.
Oh, that's amazing. Lloyd's a legend. Chris Bowen's a dick. Lloyd's a legend. But you know what I love? There's a documentary called Poultry in Motion. I get berated by Lloyd. He's like, "Oh, I know Hollywood. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Go to LA." And he's screaming about me, and I'm sitting right there. And
Why?
well, the funny thing is, Lloyd does these little fits. Nothing was going wrong, actually. It was during the bathroom scene where Joe Flyshaker sinks down and turns to nothing. It was all working exactly as planned. But Lloyd was so irate and freaking out, and he was just screaming, but he does this. But in that documentary, he berates me and he yells at me, and everybody's like, "Oh, does it hurt to watch?" And I'm like, "No," because you know who's not even in the documentary? Chris Bowen. And that's on purpose. Lloyd does not give the attention to the actual problem.
Right.
He only, like, if you watch the Citizen Toxie documentary, Apocalypse Soon, so good. But he rips Trent Haga apart. He's screaming at him, yelling at him. But Trent's his right-hand man. Like, it's a respect thing. He gives us the trauma experience. You know what I mean? Like, you're not living trauma unless you're getting yelled at. I don't think Lloyd ever talked to Chris Bowen. I don't think he ever gave him the time of day, you know? And I think that's really what it comes down to. I saw Lloyd recently. I was in Orlando at Spooky Empire, and my best friend, Jamie, got to meet him. And she kind of, like, teared up a little because we've been watching this movie since we were little kids, you know?
Yeah.
And he was just so wonderful. He's wonderful. I love Lloyd. But without knowing all sides of him, you might take him differently. When you get yelled at, you know, people don't like to get yelled at. I don't mind. I felt like it was a badge of honor. It was a badge of
Oh,
honor.
it's amazing.
I was like, this is all I ever wanted. I have a photo in the museum where that day I'm standing behind him like this, and he's sitting on a toilet like this, and we look miserable. And I'm living my childhood dream. I'm living it. I'm like, this is all I ever wanted to do. And we're just fucking miserable. Awesome.
It's awesome that you can stay aware and not get caught, you know, because the truth is too is like making movies for anyone that doesn't make movies, it's a fucking stressful thing to do.
Oh yeah.
Like, and you want it to be fun, and it should be fun, but it's like eventually there's snapping moments, and everyone should be respectful and nice. But it's like, you know, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress, and it's.
Mark, if you're still listening, I'm going to put you in my next movie because I think that would be awesome.
He lived in Vegas.
Jason Toddboy, he says this live is lit.
Yeah, lit. The lives are catching some steam. We got, the first time we had like 6 viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing better.
We have 16.
Yeah, we're doing
Do
good.
you, any tips on restoring a dried, cracked Trick or Treat Studios
Oh.
Myers mask? It hardened up and the paint is cracking.
Throw it away. Cancer has taken that mask, and there is nothing you can do about it. It's a Trick or Treat Studios one, so you can get another one. That's the nice thing. I have a Killjoy mask that I sculpted for Trick or Treat Studios that is hard as a rock. It's cracked, it's hard, but they discontinued the mask. So
no.
like it's my last Killjoy mask. I also sculpted the Ginger Dead Man mask for Trick or Treat Studios. They discontinued, and then we bought them all. I got like 12 of them. But the Killjoy one's my last one. I won't let it go, and it's hard and rotten. Latex is not a permanent fixture, which is what makes this so relevant, because all of those characters in the Monster Museum will rot and dry out, where this will never rot and dry out. He'll be my best friend forever.
Yeah, that was very cool. So as I'm digging these deeper kind of things,
Yeah,
looking, am I doing the right thing or am I messing?
you are, but you're getting you muddying it up a little bit. So I would refine them, maybe go in with something a little sharper, maybe something like this,
Okay.
and then take the water to it. But just remember, these are round tendrils.
Yeah.
So just give them their gaps, but don't overdo it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just separate them from each other so they look like they would all move individually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But without moving.
Because that's where I'm like, I feel like I get it. Like on this side, I'm kind of getting it where
That's
I want
looking
it.
good.
But
That looks
then
good.
I do.
Actually, from the front right here, it looks great. From the side, I can really see that it doesn't look deep.
Yeah.
But you're right there, man. You're very, very close. And then I promise next week you can do texture and finish it.
All right, cool. I'm not in a hurry. This is just fucking.
I will be moving on to the knee next week. Can I use that soft brush and the water that you have
This one?
right there? Yeah. This brush is gonna do the job I need.
So with this right now, should I start brushing with the water or should I do more?
You could, but very softly, and with heavy water. Heavy water, soft brushing, because you don't want to just blend it back together. Where
That's where I'm messing up. Is like I'm like okay, and then when I'm trying to brush it
so
down,
there's a in that cup those yellow brushes, the orangish looking brush.
this one.
Yeah, those are really soft, and those will probably do a good job.
Okay. A lot of water. So.
Sculpt Odie says, "Hey Tom, gonna be in that way in the spring this year, hoping to finally get a chance to check out your museum."
Awesome. Who's that?
Sculpt Odie.
Oh, okay. Very cool. I hope you do too.
And the Cryptid Horror says, "Thanks for letting her know their mask is kaput and it's like a statue."
Yeah. It sucks. Latex, especially weird modern latex, gets real bad. I have a Dawn Postmaster from 1979. Still doing okay. But modern latex does not have a shelf life.
With the old prosthetics, I see that on different shows and different things. How like they just deteriorate. Like some of the cool stuff.
Foam latex is garbage. It deteriorates immediately, which is what most prosthetics are made out of. And the thing
what
is,
was the preservation for it yet?
there's a guy named Tom Spina. There's several restorers that will use Prosate and Capicil and like really redo those masks and make them nice and preserve them. Costs a lot of money, and it's just something that it can be done. Tom Spina's done some amazing work, but he'll also tell you, like I know my friend Peter Stiggles brought a gremlin to him, and he said it was rotten. You could see the armature and and the cables and stuff, and he goes, "Put this in a glass case and enjoy it how it is, because there's no real restoring this guy."
Could you do with something like that, or even a master or anything? Could you put it in like acrylic,
like resin?
Could you just lock it in there? So
I guess you could. You can put flowers in it.
Because I feel like that would be because some of that stuff when I see it like on the auction house, different things, it's such cool stuff. but you see that it's dying. It's
Right.
just dying. And so like,
Well, it's
most
like that
of the time-
spider gremlin that's in the Monster Museum. If you breathe on that thing, it'll fall apart. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
such a shame.
it's so weak.
And you don't need to ever touch it,
Right.
you know, like to appreciate it. So like, it feels like it would be cool to kind of take some of that stuff and just put it in a nice big.
But that's kind of where with the stuff in the museum, like my Fatso is falling apart hardcore. That's a mask that I made. That's the original Trick or Treat. I made the Killer Clowns for Trick or Treat Studios, and that Fatso is the original pull from my master. So it's now deteriorating, but I'm going to go in and scan it, and I'm going to print it out, and I'll have one forever. You know, because I don't have that mold. It's in Mexico somewhere.
Rick
What?
Alaska Films is asking how the girl from Bloody Bluff is doing.
Yeah.
Leighton is doing great. She's returned to dance classes and is. She can't partake in everything, but she is really. God, she came to my daughter's birthday party and they were all playing Clue, and she was just so talkative, and
That's awesome.
you could see how it's difficult for her to talk, and like there's still a lot of therapy. She goes to like 5 hours, 6 hours of therapy a day, occupational therapy, speech therapy. But it's all, she's using a walker now. She's out of the wheelchair.
That's cool.
She seems awesome. She wants to, her words is she's going to return to school in March. So we'll see. She's a tough cookie.
It's amazing how it's hard, like having to read, you know, to watch somebody kind of have to relearn all that stuff.
And you saw it with TJ.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I went to saw TJ.
Mike's best friend is an action sports superstar, and he had a brain injury several years ago,
Yeah.
but was a vegetable. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the coma for, I don't remember how long. It felt like forever. And I'd seen him crash like 20 times. And honestly, that crash, it didn't.
Were you there
look
when it
bad.
happened?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've probably only been to 4 or 5 of his live events because
He fell 30 feet out of the air. He fell on his head. Like he was as high as a casino roof.
And that was gonna be, I'm not even sure, but I think that was his last event. Like I think he was very much near the end of his career.
Which might be why something like that could happen, you know?
Yeah, and he never, well, and there was another good friend of his that got hurt really bad at his house like days before.
Ah.
And so that, you know, I think that was in his head a little bit too. And it was just, yeah, it was, when he landed and he wasn't moving and getting up, and one of the friends that we had was a paramedic, and, you know, they were like, they're pretty sure at first he'd be okay. But then it was just like, once they got to the hospital, it was just slowly like, over the night, just was getting worse and worse. And, so he was in that coma for, I think they induced him into that coma if I remember right. But then once he was out and recovering, I mean, he had to like learn to walk. He had to learn to tie his shoes. He had to like, you know, and it's very like, I mean, he was like childlike when you talk to him. He was like, you know, just didn't really.
That's how, the thing is with Leighton is she struggles to speak and she struggles to move, but her brain activity is not affected. Like she's so cognizant. So you get these people that are like talking to her like this.
Yeah.
And she's like, my ears work.
So I heard that part.
She
of the
is so
process
sharp.
is good. That's
And like she had just read The Outsiders before before this happened, before the surgery. For those who don't know, she had a tumor the size of a softball removed from her brain, and she's only 12 years old. So it's a big portion of her head. But she had just read The Outsider, but I quizzed her on it because it's one of my favorite books. Sharp as a nail, man. Like she didn't lose any retention to her cognizant, but her motor functions are very difficult. And so she's getting it back, though. I mean, it's just a slow road.
yeah.
But in reality, it hasn't been that slow. She had a tumor for 8 years. You know, like to get over it in a year, that's okay. You know, she'll be better for it.
TJ was interesting to watch because TJ's always been like, he just never stops.
Right.
And so even at his like, you know, when he's in his worst part, it's like he wanted to do his therapy every day. He was like, you know, and his mind was like not there, you know, but he was just like, you know, he just powered through it all. And it took a long time. But it was.
Do you see like memory loss? Like he's told me he's got a bad memory now. But
Yeah.
do you see him forgetting things that you experienced with him? Like, do you have stuff that you're like, hey, remember this? And he's like, nah, I have no idea what you're talking
Yeah, but it's actually more like when we're young, he remembers a lot from when we're young.
about. Okay.
It's more of like newer stuff that he kind of like. We do live streams together too every Wednesday. And
Are those live streams on Creepy Popcorn?
no, they're on a channel we put together for him. But we were talking about Vane, and he came to the premiere of Vane. And so we were talking about it or something, and then I was like, "You remember that movie?" And he's like, "No, you made a new movie." Like he legitimately didn't even remember going to
The funny thing is I asked him about a girl who was like a physical trainer, and he's like, I don't know her. But then I told my wife that, and I think she found a picture of her at his house.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's very possible.
And I told her, I said, well, his wife does a lot of athletic stuff too, and who knows how many people come to that house. Like, of course, he just didn't remember. But I mean, we didn't tell her she didn't remember.
Till
You know.
now.
No, she doesn't. I don't even know her. I don't even know her name, honestly. But it was just somebody that we shared in common. My wife trained with that used to brag that she trained TJ Liv, and I thought that was funny when he's like, I have no idea who she is.
Yeah, he's usually pretty careful. Like when he's confident, he's pretty on.
But he did say, I do have a shitty memory. So
and then he does meet a million people.
oh, of course, and that's me too, man. I never remember anybody. I try to. Like, it makes it easy when I see him more than once.
Did you make the Trick or Treat Studios Nightmare 1 Freddy mask? I've got a decent collection from the studio and wondering if I have any of your sculpts.
No. I'm responsible for Shorty, Fatso of the Killer Clowns, the Ginger Dead Man, and Killjoy. And those are the only ones that I did for them. I wanted to do the Leatherface 3 one really bad. And when they were doing wrestlers, I really wanted to do Mankind. But it just didn't work out. They had other people, so.
I know you're a big wrestling fan.
I love wrestling.
Do you watch WWE?
Currently, no. I do catch the highlights. I'll watch This Week in Raw or whatever.
Well, the reason I ask is if I told you this, I wasn't going to be a big wrestling fan, but I don't watch hardly at all. But one of my really good friend's daughter is really like doing well. She's in the WWE now. She was
she?
Kendall Gray.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
She's big time.
Yeah. So she.
That's awesome. Is she from Vegas?
Actually, yeah, I think she was born in Vegas. He's from New Jersey. They moved here, and we worked together in the casino.
Because I know a lot of the trainers here in Vegas that have trained talent that have moved on there, and but yeah, I do really enjoy wrestling. I don't currently watch. I just don't have the time.
Yeah,
it's a lot of investment in the time. When they switch to Netflix, honestly, I just don't have the time. But I do catch on Peacock. I'll watch This Week on, and you catch the highlights and stuff. And Chris and I, we talk a lot.
he big wrestling fan.
Yeah, Chris actually pursued wrestling.
Oh, really?
As did I. I went to wrestling school. I didn't ever think I was going to make it. Chris could have made it. Chris can make it. If Chris, get out of the outpost.
Go be a wrestler.
Go do some backdrops. Let's go. No, I wanted to make a documentary about him returning to the idea of wrestling and like signing up with like, FCW or something and but we just don't have time and money and I don't know. Me and Chris do fantasize about wrestling a lot though. But I went to the Snake Pit. I was trained by Jake the Snake Roberts, D'Lo, Sin Bodhi. That's how me and Sin were friends from Full Moon. And when I moved to Vegas, he was doing these wrestling camps. And then he started a full-blown school. And I signed me up. I'm going.
That's awesome.
Chris says he's on it.
He says he's on it. But, I was 34 years old. Lola got me the package for my 34th birthday. She paid for like the first 3 months or something. Holy smokes. I'll tell you what. You want to talk about personal abuse. A, I'm not super, talented.
Right.
B, I am stupid though, so I'll try anything. I have no fear, but I did fall on my head a bunch. But because I was not like a protege or somebody that was gonna make it in wrestling, D'Lo didn't want me there. Like he's trying to train superstars. Right. I'm wasting his time. So he would just feed me to his guys, and I I got beat up. I did get my ankle got really messed up, and I had to have cold laser done on it at Jake the Snake's house. So I got to go sit on Jake the Snake Roberts' couch while his daughter's doing cold laser on my leg, and we're watching Desperate Housewives or something. I was like, this is the most awesome. It's all worth it right now. This experience. And I had a moment. I did a promo class with Mouse of the South, Jimmy Hart, and I destroyed that class. Like, I was a terrible wrestler. And then when it came time to do promos, they would always be apprehensive because most of the wrestlers like really struggle with promos.
Right.
Not this guy. I could talk. So I just turned it on, and I had this amazing moment with one of the most legendary, Hulk Hogan's manager. And it was awesome.
That's awesome.
But got my ass kicked. Puked in the ring. Yeah. But I met some great people like Wes, Beast the Butcher, who was in Teddy Told Me To in the After Dark. He was one of the trainers there that really could work with me and saw my dream and didn't categorize me as just an old guy that's not going to make it. He still thinks I can make it. He's like, let's go.
So it's not really meant to be like it's meant for people that are really wanting to be wrestlers.
Yeah, Vegas is a hub. So like we have FCW, Future Champions of Wrestling. We had Snake Pit. Snake Pit is now part of FCW. They merged. And then we have Versus Pro Wrestling. There's another one that I'm forgetting the name of. I know the guy that runs it. Not NEW, that's in Florida. Anyway, they a lot of guys train here and try to get to the farm places like OVW and things like that go to the WWE or NXT. And Sin Bodhi, who trains here and owns Snake Pit, he is a trainer on and off at the Performance Center, WWE Performance Center. He's an ex-WWE guy. So that's also how I met Gangrel and was able to get him in my movie, is because he came and taught a class at Snake Pit and I took it. And I wrote this part for Gangrel when I was in like 10th grade. I was like, I'm going to make a movie with this vampire warrior, and it's Gangrel from The Brood. And then he was my teacher, and I clammed up, and I was like, I don't have a script. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But then he's in front of me, right here. I could, and he was so cool. And I was like, God. 3 years later, got the script together, got everything together. I reached out. I don't know that he remembered me from Sin's class.
Right.
But I do know wrestling guys do anything for wrestling guys. Right. They're the most loyal humans you'll ever meet. So I told him who I was and where I came from, and he took the part without reading the script, which he then regretted when he realized it was a real part. It wasn't just a cameo.
Like a little cameo.
He told Kayla, she picked him up. I don't know if it was Kayla or Chris, picked him up from the airport, and he told them, your boss is the most persuasive human I ever met. Because he tried to quit the After Dark a couple times. But Gangrel was awesome.
When he tried to quit, what was it?
The dialogue, I mean, it's a real part with real acting. He's like, I'm not an actor. I'm a vampire. I said, it's written for you. You just be you. And he's like, but I perform live and I rib and improv. Like, I don't. He was so afraid of the dialogue. I gave him all the freedom to, but he didn't. He hit every line. Every line. And, sometimes we would help him out if he forgot something. But he was so insecure up to the premiere. But then he really embraced it. He loved it, man. And he was awesome. He's like one of my favorite moments was in this room. There was an epic battle between Gangrel and Sin Bodhi, who had been.
How you shot that here?
In this room. There's a hole in the wall right there where Sin got thrown through the wall. There's one behind this mirror, too. You can see the crack coming out. But they had this epic battle. These guys have been wrestling for 30 years together. They've known each other and been best friends for 30 years. And they gave me everything in one take for a 7-minute fight scene. I was just like, we ran 3 cameras and just go. I let them improv it, It was amazing. And they walked through it. They're like, and then we'll do a do, and we'll do a bop bop, and here you'll give me a what's it called, and they go from outside this room into this room, out that door, down the hallway into the next room, and they did it all in one take.
That's amazing.
Oh God, I told everybody it was WrestleMania weekend, and I told everybody, I said, this is Devlin Mania, and we're all experiencing it. It was so fun. as a wrestling fan, it was one of the coolest things I ever saw.
Yeah, that's
And it's in my movie forever.
In your movie.
Yeah. But I love wrestling. There's just too much of it. It's like Star Wars. I can't watch all the shows.
Yeah, that's the one thing I commit myself to is all Star Wars.
I
As much as I love comics, I'm falling off the comics still.
I have not seen any of Andor. Like I'm behind.
They're so good. It's real. It's very story driven. It's very like you gotta pay. If you don't if you don't want to get into something deep, it's not really good. But
Right.
That's why I love it so much. It's because it's such a cool. Did you like Rogue One?
I love Rogue One.
Yeah, it's great. It's very complimentary to Rogue One, but it is.
The only Star Wars product I ever didn't like was Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Caleb joined us. He says, Tom Devlin, everybody.
Caleb Emerson, everybody. The Caleb. Hey, you missed Caleb. We talked about Chris Bowen. We talked about that essay he wrote about me gluing feathers on your chin. Which, you asked why is that wrong?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like spray glue, not makeup.
So like
It's toxic. Yeah, don't do that.
right.
But when you're on a trouble movie, sometimes you got to get some feathers on a guy's beard real quick.
Sometimes you got to shave a couple years off your life.
And he didn't care. He didn't care. Caleb.
He says he's still recovering.
Caleb, Mark Torgel was watching this live and he was chiming in all kinds. It was awesome.
I think I'm gonna have a little bit of stuff. What time is it? 12 o'clock.
Ooh, we're going late today. Been talking. But I'm feeling good about this sculpture. I think we're getting there. One time Caleb took a makeup class that I taught. That was fun. Like I didn't have enough students and I was like, hey, you want a free makeup class? I need another person.
Did you like it, Caleb?
Not Caleb, the guy.
Caleb.
Yeah, the guy that Kayla has never taken. She's been on the hook, but never had to.
Kayla gets roped into some things.
She'll get roped into anything.
She's the standby extra of anything, not just filmmaking of anything.
Everything.
She's also forced to be my friend. I know how this works.
I'm your friend.
How did you guys meet?
Kayla was the administrator. Is that the right word?
I was the director of admissions.
Yeah.
Same thing.
At El Makeup Institute when I got hired there. And then they unceremoniously fired her on her birthday.
Oh, nice.
And then
They were real nice people.
when I quit working there, I called her and on New Year's Day. And I said, hi, Kayla, this is Tom. You might remember me from the makeup school. And she's like, yes. And I said, what are you doing with your life? And she said, I'm selling timeshares.
Yeah, I was working at
And I was like, you want to change that? Want to go on an adventure? And she showed up and she was working part-time. And then she almost quit because she was still selling timeshares. And then the day she was going to quit or step back, she showed up and I said, Kayla, I need you more than ever. Lola's out for a little while. She's taking a break. I need you. And then it's been 8 years.
Wow.
7 years.
7 years. I mean, it's
That's awesome.
And we've been all over the country together. We did the Teddy tour. She's produced 9 movies now, and
That's fun.
and kind of found a whole career in a weird world. She was attached to the makeup thing. Like she knew the makeup school stuff. So we built a makeup school too, which was real helpful. But the thing is like I don't think that she ever chose this life. I chose her. I choose you.
That's awesome.
I chose Kayla because 2 reasons. One, I thought she was a badass at the makeup school and the only person that was really like trustworthy as far as like had everybody's best intentions in mind.
Right.
And 2, she was nice to me. Never made me feel stupid. I have a weird thing. I don't like when people make you feel less than intelligent.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, but a lot of people do that
Yeah,
out of
there's
it,
a lot-
out of an insecurity. A lot of
always out
people
of insecurity.
will
Yeah.
make you feel like. So if I tell Kayla like, "Hey, I really need this product," they have it at Friends. She's not going to tell me, "Oh, but I can get it at Nigel's," because she knows the guys at Nigel.
Right.
She's going to say, "Okay," and then she made friends with the guys at Friends. That happened at the makeup school, and that's because these are two effects supply places. Nigel used to work for Friends. He left them, backstabbed them over a Christmas break. Sorry, I'm putting this live. And then, but I'm loyal, and those are my homies. Like those people treated me good when I was coming up. They gave me product. They helped me out. They pushed me towards my career. And when Nigel left, he backstabbed them. And so when I got to this makeup school, they're buying all these supplies from Nigel. I just said, hey, maybe try these guys. A, more affordable. B, they're the real deal. They're the originals. Like these are the guys. And she did. And that really goes a long way. Rather than just trying to put your boots in and be like, but I know of this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care who you know. I'm telling you, this is the right place to buy this stuff. You know. Anyway, Kayla wins. I win. Because I have Kayla. And Kayla really helped because I've been working with my wife at that point for like 20 years. Maybe not 20, 18 years. I don't know how many years. We're together 22 now, so minus 7, whatever that is. Long time.
15.
But it's stressful working with me because I'm a guy that goes and does constantly. Today, we're making a live stream every Monday, and we're going to do this every Monday, blah, 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 blah. Tomorrow, we're going to do the thing with Nightmare Christie, and we're going to post that every Friday. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, that wears on a relationship when it's not just a work relationship. It wears on a work relationship.
Yeah.
I'm sure she gets overwhelmed and frazzled, and I just go, come on, Kayla. Let's go. Like, you can be overwhelmed and frazzled, but let's go. But with my wife, you overwhelm and frazzle at work, and then you get home, and you're still overwhelmed, right? It's very difficult.
Starts to make the marriage now. Yeah.
And so she really helped us out personally by showing up during the infancy of the dinosaur adventure. Saved the relationship, probably. And that day that she quit her real job and just like threw caution to the wind, literally, because we were making no money. And she knew that because she's in charge of it. And I'm like, I'll pay you full time. Come here. And she's like, we don't make enough. but she had trust and faith. And I've taken her on a million adventures, and I'll do a million more as long as she'll stick with it. Every week or every couple of weeks, I say, Kayla, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Because I'm always worried, like, are you thinking about starting a cooking show or something? Like, is there something that you want to do that I'm not privy to? Because I just want to know, because we've built some infrastructure here. Like, nobody knows I don't know what she does.
Right, like if you walked away, you're like,
And
it starts falling down.
What I do know is it's given Lola's killing it on these daily vlogs, and Lola kills our graphic design.
Yeah,
she doesn't have to worry about keeping these stores stocked. We don't have to talk to the employees about like negative stuff. You know, she's a manager. She manages. And that's what we need is somebody who's just on it, that wants to be here, which I hope you want to be here, Kayla.
I want to be here.
Are you saying that because you're on camera?
Asking you on camera live.
No, but
Wouldn't that be dramatic if I took this moment and I was like,
like
I'm leaving.
Like those news anchors.
Yeah,
like the news anchors that just quit on camera.
One of those people that asked her girlfriend to marry him on camera again.
But I'll tell you what, we have been in some crazy situations. Like the Teddy Told Me To tour was wild and fun and nothing negative happened. But one time I drove through a tornado with her, and she was scared, and it was awesome. And
that's terrifying.
And I get to put her in weird movies that she doesn't know she wants to be in, but then she's really good. And this year she stepped into the haunted house because we needed a haunt actor, and she was so good. And I was like, I don't know. I don't abuse Kayla, but I push her to her limits sometimes.
That's what we're saying.
That's what we call it. Yeah.
And she always comes back.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching that don't know, this is Kayla right here. And
Kayla's an all-star.
She's the best. Am I on camera still?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
I love it. No, yeah, because we've talked about them and over, but like I didn't know how you guys first
We
started.
didn't have nothing in common. Like she likes punk rock, and she enjoys watching a horror movie, but she wasn't a fanatic. This isn't her life. It wasn't her life. When she first started working at the Monster Museum, I gave her a list of movies she had to watch, and she watched them. You know how many people we've given a list of movies to watch, and they have not watched them?
Most.
And,
yeah.
I think I spent a year watching.
like employees. Like,
How many movies was it?
I mean, it was like every movie that was in.
yeah, but also like she had never seen Lost Boys.
Yeah.
You know, she had never seen Return of the Living Dead. But now she talks to Amelia Kincaid stole her sunglasses once. She knows who Mark Torgl is.
Yeah.
Like she's not somebody who doesn't know this. She's part of the world.
So you
She's
get to
been
appreciate
she's
it.
been to more conventions than most horror fans. Like she's been to Flashback Weekend in Chicago. She's been to Mad Monster Party. She's been to Days of the Dead. I mean, she's been to all the convention. Texas Frightmare. She came. This is one of my favorite Kayla stories. I was doing Uber Jason makeup in Texas, and we packed and got there, and I forgot his glove, so she had to overnight mail me the glove. That next night, I felt something was wrong. Uber Jason worked on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And on Friday at 4 p.m., I was like, there's just something wrong. I got the glove. Like, we're ready, right? And I open up the box. I forgot the Uber Jason hockey mask, which is we're talking about the metal chrome.
Yeah.
You can't buy that on a convention floor.
No.
And I called Kayla at 11 p.m. and I said, hey, Kayla.
It was like 6 a.m. of the same day.
I was like, oh, no, 6 a.m. of the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Kayla, you want to come to Texas? And she's like, why? And I said, well, I forgot the Uber Jason mask. And she had just overnighted the glove. Like, we could have fixed